What's going on, guys? We're here for another episode of Car Compare, I guess, until I find a better name to call it. This series where we're going to take different versions of all the cars we have out here, run them on the track that we have out there, and we'll compare lap times and see how they stack up against each other, running an Ultra 4 loop and a normal like short course version of the track. We've got a couple bombers there, got a Summit, a couple UDRs, a TRX4, E-Revos, Max, X-Max, and today, we looked at the Slash 4x4 previously. The card for that should be linked somewhere. Today we're going to check out this Losi Tenacity DB Pro though, and we're going to run this around the same thing. We'll compare some lap times, we'll do best lap and average lap times, and then we'll compare it on the Ultra 4 course, and we'll see how they stack up since these cost a bit more than the Slashes, and these are supposed to be a lot better around the track. So I guess today we will see exactly how much better they are around the track, or not. Let's go find out. Alright, also windy day today, so we'll start the lap counter with this and we'll see how she goes time-wise. What's going on, guys? It is the, I guess, future version of me since it's been almost a week since I've recorded this video, and now we're narrating it because it is... I live in a wind tunnel. There's, other than the trees you're seeing in the camera right there in the background, if we look to the right, there are no trees there, so it's very windy. So we're gonna do a post commentary on these anyway, so I can try and focus my brain on driving the best I can to try and get some consistent laps. The track is going to be staying as it is for now. With if we make some improvements to it, I kind of want to make some bigger jumps, add some bank corners, and make the Ultra 4 thing better. But at this point, that's going to be a next year thing if it happens. Season 2 of this, we might make some track improvements next year. For now, we're going to run it as it is, and this is going to be the final form of it beyond just like touching up the whoops as they need to be done and like mowing the grass and cutting the weeds down. But yeah, the second time we're doing this video, we are using the Losi Tenacity DB Pro. We're running a Z 5200 mAh 3S battery pack in it, so it's not exactly a fair comparison to the Slash, but I don't trust the track's electronics in that enough to run it on 3S, since we haven't broken anything on them yet running them around here. So maybe a future video we'll do the Slash on 3S to get another point of comparison, but I'm honestly not sure how much of a difference 2S versus 3S in a car like this is going to make on this track, specifically because, as you can probably notice, it's mostly pretty loose, and the limiting factor definitely seems to be how much traction you can find and how fast you can spin the wheels. Yeah, maybe in the future we can revisit the Slash and run the Slash on a 3S pack. The only reason this is really being run on 3S right now is the only battery I have that even fits in this car is a Z3S pack I bought specifically to fit this battery tray. So we can revisit this at a future date. If the demand is there, we can run a Slash on 3S in the future to compare it. If you're watching this and you want to see, you've got ideas what you want in the next episode of Discount Top Gear, I'm debating doing a miniature E-Revo, the full-size E-Revo, a Trexus UDR, or the X-Max. I'm kind of thinking we want to save the X-Max for later. Kind of thinking right now I might do the UDR next and set a lap time with the UDR, and then maybe we'll do an E-Revo after that, or a normal Max. I don't know. You guys saw me look at the cars I had in the garage when we started this video. If anybody is watching and made it this far, all the dozens of people that clicked this, and you have a car you want to see running this specifically, let me know. I've also been debating, once we benchmark some of the other cars we have, I've been debating like grabbing a couple of cheapo WL Toys China brand cars to see how those are going to compare to everything else and how they stack up. But yeah, I think starting with a Tenacity and a Slash should be a good baseline, and looks like we're cutting back to past me in a minute here, so this version of me will be quiet. Alright, we'll try this. I don't think this is going to work because we have a center diff. I'll narrate this. Here comes the Ultra 4 lap times. And yeah, here we go. This honestly surprised me. I didn't think this was going to work as, I want to say well, since we're clearly getting hung up here, and I suspect we're going to see a large difference when it comes time to run the bombers, because we do have we have a his and her set of axial bombers that we've just put 2 Castle Mamba X systems in. Right now I have a rear sway bar in mind to tone it down. The blue one we have does not have a sway bar at all. So we also could try and run lap times with and without the sway bar to, I guess, add more cars to the list and different configurations of stuff to see how much of a difference the sway bars make. I was honestly very surprised at how well this made it through the little Ultra 4 bit here. If I pick the line very carefully and try and jump over the hard stuff and take the easiest line possible, I think our average times are going to end up showing that the Tenacity is going to be one of the fastest cars through this section by the time we benchmark everything else. But that comes down to getting lucky and picking the easy line, and I definitely don't think it's always repeatable. And when we film this, like when we were running the bombers for fun before, we can drive those from the car hauler. When we did the bit for the Slash and the Tenacity hitting this, we had to like step down and stand right next to it so I could see exactly where the tires were going, because yeah, it's hard. Just making our way through some cut up logs, and then we've got a split line there that goes between a stack of pallets and like a couple things to crawl over. These were obviously not going to be able to take the left line and the split lane there to do the crawly bit, so we had to take the pallets with us. The split lane's mostly there, so if we're running 2 bombers and one of them's getting stuck and taking its time, you have a way to go around. So we'll close out the lap here. Good little run through the Ultra 4 bit here, which definitely more fun with a bomber than these things, but I'm honestly more surprised that this was even able to make it through. We've got some lap times to benchmark it now so we can compare. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the other video, there should have been a card linked. I would recommend you go check it out if you want to see how the Slash bench line here. But yeah, the nicer Tenacity DB Pro with the aluminum chassis and the center diff ended up being slightly faster. And then just for fun, we're going to send it in. I really like that corner coming into the jump there, because you can't really drive it since it's really tight hairpin. You got to swing it out a little bit to get the front end around, and it's kind of fun to come into that sideways. And it's really fun when you get the corner just right and you slide in sideways perfectly lined up for the jump and pin it. Anyway, back to the other version of me now to do this bit of the video. Alright, we've returned to the garage to wrap this video up. We've got other stuff we can try this with in the future. I don't know about you guys, but this little dude surprised me. I was not expecting that at all to make it through our little Ultra 4 course, or the Slash for that matter in the previous video. Kind of got a feeling those are going to be hard times to beat, even with bombers on brushless or the Summit. But what I think was pretty obvious is if I pick the easiest line possible through the Ultra 4 section and jump it just right, and we get lucky and don't get stuck, it'll go through quickly. But the second it gets hung up on something, it's stuck for a hot second. So yeah, second video in the series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you want to see more with some other cars to compare, let me know. See you guys in the next one. Thanks if you made it this far. You deserve a chocolate lava cake or something. Let me know in the comments. That's how I'll know you actually made it this far.